Alright guys, Monday, March 1st. Welcome to a new month and welcome back to the channel. Just about to start working on the 250, and where we left off was this handbrake and getting the grommets installed for the handbrake cables. So I've got the two grommets here that we're going to install, and then we'll attach the cables to the compensator, and that will be done as far as the handbrake lever is concerned. We'll have to make some adjustments to the actual cables and the actual emergency brake at some point, but at least the installation part will be done. After that, I think we are going to actually pull the steering column out and get that fitted into the car and get that out of the way. We also want to attach the lower footwell vents for the ducting system, so we'll do that while we can, while we have good access. And then, as mentioned, I think a couple times in my video yesterday, I hadn't realized how many times I talked about this windscreen, but we want to cut the seal out and remove the glass because we're going to have to paint the windscreen frame. So we need to remove the glass to be able to do that. So we'll probably get the X-Acto knife out, cut the screen out, and get that ready for paint and see how badly rusted it may be down in the corners, because these are noted to rust quite easily down in the corners where the legs are for the screen attachment. So we'll have a look at that once we get the glass out and the interior vinyl paneling stripped down. We'll take the mirror off as well. I did bring the dash out just to have a quick look at the old dash, and we'll have to strip these components off the dash: the rheostat, the lights, the hazard switch, and probably the hinges for the cubby door. I actually have a solid walnut dash to go in this car, but I need to modify it slightly and add a few things. The walnut dash that I have does not have the holes drilled in it for the attachment to the metal dash, so that's on the list to do, plus the transference of, like I said, the cubby door hinges and the lock, etc. So that's on the list as well. But let's start with those. Actually, let's start with the handbrake. We'll finish that, then we'll do the footwell vents. All right, nice easy job to start the day. So job one is done. Grommets are in, cables are hooked up, and it's functioning as it should. So we'll make the adjustments when we're getting closer to getting this on the road. The adjustments will need to be done back here. So let's move on to the next job, which will be those under dash vents. All right, we're looking at the under dash vents, and I've come to a decision. I think that's a beer opener. Looks like you could actually use that to crack a beer open. Anyway, I've decided that I'm not going to run with these lower vents, which would go somewhere like here. They pick up underneath, something like that, I believe, and are for footwell. But you know what? I have them on my TR6. I never ever use them. There's a lot of extra piping involved for them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually hook up the eyeball vents up here on the dash from this location over here on the heater box and be done with it, and not run those lower hoses, just to make it a little bit cleaner under the dash. If somebody wants them, I'll include them in the next sale and somebody else can install them, but I'm not going to install them. I don't like them, and like I said, I think it clutters up the bottom of the dash too much. So if I'm never going to use them, why bother installing them? Alright, I'm happy with my decision to not go with those footwell vents. I'm able to get rid of all of the stuff you see on the floor in front of you, and as you can imagine, the real estate underneath that dash is fairly tight. So to get rid of that is a good thing in my mind. Like I said, I'll throw it in the bin over there at the other parts, and the next owner in 30 years time can reinstall them if he wishes, he or she wishes. So yeah, it just makes it a cleaner look. It makes it easier access under the dash if I do have any issues. It's going to definitely make it easier now hooking up things like the speedo and the tack and everything else underneath there, the column. So that's my decision, and I'm happy with it. Like I said, I've never ever used those in my TR6 anyway, so why should I bother putting them on? It's going to upset some people, but it doesn't upset me. Alright guys, I think it's steering column time. So we've got the old column out, and as mentioned, it's seen a bit of wear, seen better days. It's got quite a few nicks and scratches and some pretty deep grooves cut in it where I think the inappropriate felts were used, as mentioned. I'm thinking that I may actually just put it in the car as is, not painted, and then paint it in situ once I've got it bolted in. I find that putting the columns in and adjusting them and manipulating them, it tends to scratch the column right back up where you've painted it. So I might actually see if I've got enough room to actually get a brush, a small brush in there, just to paint it after it's installed. We have all the components ready to go. The grommet for the firewall, the foam seal, all of the felts have been renewed, all of the bracketry we have, the bolts and nuts ready to go. So I guess there's no time like the present to put this in. We're going to start with the firewall grommet, and then we'll work our way there. We're going to clean this up a little bit, just clean the switches up. We have the escutcheons here standing by for this column, although I think we may get new escutcheons, but those are easily bolt on afterwards, so I'm not too concerned about that at the moment. So yeah, let's get this in the car. Again, this is going to be a tough area to show you under the dash. So and we've got the column just sort of peeking through there with the rubber grommet on, and under here there's a little shelf that sits on. You can see that there. So that little shelf gets this felt directly on the shelf, and then that bracket goes around and through the felt and bolts to that shelf at the front there. So we're going to install this bracket first and get that out of the way. Alright guys, steering column is in. It's just bolted up really loosely. It's a little bit different than the TR6 as far as the brackets are concerned inside. The TR6 is a little bit more substantial, let's say, probably because of the crash restrictions. There's a bit more bracketry, a little bit more substantial bracketry than what there is on the 250. There's some different brackets, like this bracket is different on the 250 that goes from this clamp here all the way up to the bulkhead. That's a different, well, on a later TR6 anyway. I'm not sure, maybe the earlier TR6s are the same, but the later TR6 does not have that style of bracket. There's the clamp back there on that shelf we were talking about earlier, just a U-clamp with a piece of felt and a piece of felt on top of the shelf, and that's bolted down. Then there would normally be an H-frame under the column on a later TR6. This just has a single bar running from that shelf to the front of the dash. And of course there's this clamp here. Wiring harness runs underneath. There's a little protector for the wires that runs underneath that. So that's pretty much the column in. We're going to add the escutcheons just to prevent that overdrive switch from hanging any longer than it needs to. So we'll go ahead and do that now, and we'll come back and we'll do one quick look of that completed, and then we'll look at the rest of the steering shaft that needs to be refinished, taken apart and refinished. We'll just go have a quick look at that afterwards, and let me bring you back after I get the escutcheons installed. Alright guys, the escutcheons are installed along with the overdrive switch. Missing a screw on the bottom, but those are not going to be staying on there. They're only temporary. They are in pretty bad shape, or pretty faded out. Missing their decals as well, although I know you can get just decal transfers if yours are in good shape and have just worn out. So we'll be doing a little bit of more work on this area once we order some parts, and once we figure out where the actual steering column needs to go. I'm not sure whether it needs to go back further or not, but anyway, it's in there loosely. We can move it around as required. As mentioned, we need to figure out the bottom of the column and reposition this as required. Alright, let's move on to something else. Let's maybe attempt to get the glass out of the windscreen. We've been talking about that for a while. Let's try to get that done. Alright, there's the carnage from the windscreen removal, and I've got good news on two fronts. One, the windscreen is intact. I didn't break it getting it out, so that's good. And two, unbelievably, it looks like I don't even have any rust in the corner of my windscreen. It's like mint. Anyway, we're going to do a little bit of work here and do a bit more investigation before I go crazy. We're going to try to take off this all this goop and this vinyl trim off the inside with the help of a heat gun to get the frame down to bare metal, and then we'll have another quick look at it, and we'll make our final impression. So what I'm doing now is I'm carefully stripping away this interior finishing kit, not to reuse it, but possibly to use it as a template to make something of my own. The last time I checked, these few strips of vinyl are $100 US to purchase if you want to buy a pre-formed kit. I've got an idea in mind that I think will turn out just as good, but I want to keep these as a template, so just carefully going along, loosening the glue and saving what we can in the process, and checking on the condition of the frame. So far so good. All right, sometimes you win, and it's not often the case on this car that I've been working on. It's fought me the whole way, but the windscreen is perfect. It's like the nicest windscreen I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, no rust anywhere. It's actually very, very clean. I've just wire brushed it a bit to get some of the old sealant and silicone off that was on there. And of course we've removed all the trim pieces, so there's all that excess glue that I've got to clean off now. But that looks awesome, so I'm happy about that. So we'll get it cleaned up further. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to just probably put this, get the DA out and get all this old glue off. And then we'll get to the process of retrimming it, and obviously I need to get a new seal for the glass to put the glass in. But yeah, I'm happy with that, so we'll clean it up a bit more and we'll stick it on the car for now and wait for our seal to come in. Alright, we've got the windscreen just sat back on the car temporarily while we wait for the new seals, and it really transforms the look of the car even without the glass. Alright, so that is done, and I'm quite happy with the condition of that frame, as you can probably tell. So that does not require any further work other than just some cleaning and obviously priming and painting before the glass goes back in. So we'll look forward to doing that when it gets a little bit warmer out. Alright, so next job on the agenda, probably clean the garage a little bit. Then we're going to get to this steering shaft, and we're going to separate that, clean that up, do a little bit of painting, get our new rubber coupler, etc., etc., and we'll try to install that back on the car. So then we'll have steering. Alright, Tuesday, March the 2nd, 2021. Big day today for my mom. It's her birthday. I think she told me it's her 40th birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. Anyway, we are continuing on. This is part 10, I believe, of the reassembly phase of my 1968 Triumph TR250 project. We left off talking about doing the rest of the column. Since we have the inner steering column or the outer steering column installed under the dash, we now need to do the inner components, and we've got them just sitting over here ready to be stripped apart. So that's what we're going to do today. That's today's main feature, is getting this upper and lower steering shaft disassembled, painted. We have a new rubber coupling here for that. We need to do a little bit of stripping and painting work on this locking plate. So that's what the plan is for today. If we run out of jobs to do at the end of the day, we've got a new plastic glove box, or cubby box, whatever you want to call it, along with a mounting kit. And it'll probably be a good opportunity to put that in before we put the wood dash in, just to get that out of the way. So anyway, let's start on the inner column and get that taken apart. Alright, we got the little locking plate cleaned up and ready for paint, so we'll just do that in a second. Just about to assemble the upper and lower shaft with this rubber bushing in the middle, and these are lock wired on the top and bottom. And there's also a ground strap. It looks like this one is broken, but there's a ground strap that runs between these two connections here to allow the horns to work. So we'll have to put a new ground strap in, or create a new ground strap. I don't have an actual factory one, but anyway, we can take this apart now, and we'll bring you back when it's disassembled. Alright, there's the upper shaft detached from the lower shaft. So we'll remove the rubber bushing entirely, just these two more bolts here. You can see the ground strap just running through there, but it's missing the eyelet on the bottom, which would have been attached to, oh, there it is actually there, to this bolt over here, so it's just pulled through. So we're going to knock this piece off here and off the spline shaft, and we are going to paint that up as well with the same time and the same color as this piece here. So we'll go ahead anyway, remove this rubber bushing, and we'll continue on from there. Alright, a quick look of the upper and lower shafts disassembled before we go to, I think we're going to probably sandblast this. This looks like it has about don't know, 6 coats of paint on it. It's pretty thick. I was just going to wire brush it, but I think the sandblaster will do a better job. So we'll brave the cold temperatures outside, we'll fire the compressor up, and we'll do a little sandblasting outdoors. So I'll come back once we're done that, and just before we get ready to paint it. Alright, we've got all the components sanded up nicely and wiped down with rubbing alcohol and taped off the splines. This shaft looks much better than it did. I think it had been painted 3 or 4 times actually. At one point it was even red. So those are all ready to be painted. So I'm going to get some primer out. We're going to get the heat gun, warm these parts up. It was pretty darn cold outside sandblasting, I can tell you that. So these parts definitely need to be warmed up before any paint hits them. So we'll do that first, and then we'll break out the paint and get these to looking a little bit better than they do now. Alright, we just started the reassembly process. So some parts we have in paint, and some parts we decided just to leave unpainted for now. We'll paint them once they go back on the car. We're just assembling this rubber coupling, and just a quick note, if you ever have problems aligning the holes, which you probably will if you ever exchange this coupling out, is to use either a clamp, a C-clamp, or a hose clamp around the entire thing to squeeze it so you can align the bolt holes. Created a new ground strap and just ran it through the center there, so hopefully that's going to work. We'll find out. Anyway, we'll continue assembling this off the bench, and then we'll put it on the car. We'll bring it back before that. Alright guys, the lower and upper columns are installed and not really tightened down. The pinch bolts are still loose. The clamp is fairly tight, and we'll have to make some adjustments once they get a wheel to check it out. Like I said, I think the column might need to go in more, but we'll wait and see. And then what I think I'll do now is I'll get the black paint out, and we'll paint that shaft in situ, and we should be good to go there. So let me do that, and we'll clean this area up here a little bit as well, and we'll break out the black paint. Alright guys, we got the steering column shafts painted, and just 1 coat of black, and we'll come back and we'll do another coat once this is dry. We'll let it dry overnight. It's pretty cold out in the garage, so it'll take a little while to dry. And we will do another coat, but it looks pretty good already. I'm not going to do the glove box, or I'm not going to get to the glove box today. I did actually stick it just in the hole there, and we've got the mounting kit for it ready to go, but it's going to be a little fiddly, and I don't have the patience for it tonight, so that will be another day. Alright guys, we'll call it a day, and we'll see you back out here probably tomorrow. Have a good night. Thanks.